All right, Peter J. Hutchinson asked us, this is a fashion question and also a weaponry question. How is the kilt belt and dirk worn with a jacket and waistcoat? I've seen many examples of the buckle peeking out from underneath the waistcoat, but also older images with the belt over the waistcoat. Is one more formal or more practical or more proper than the other? So, and to be clear, we're talking about dirk, which is the Scottish dagger evolved out of the Bollock dagger, not a Sgian Dubh.
Yeah.
Dirk, Sgian Dubh. Dirk, Sgian Dubh.
That's what she said. I had to. So
sorry, Ian.
We're breaking Ian.
He's my biggest fan, apparently.
It depends on the jacket itself. If you're wearing a jacket that's typically open, i.e. a Prince Charlie or an Argyll jacket or something, or a Crail, something like that, then I wouldn't wear a dirk with it because you generally don't wear a belt with a vest, and if you do, it's you wear the dirk on a what's a dirk frog, or what's the little loop thing that goes over
there's usually just a loop on the scabbard of a dirk. I mean, frogs are usually more for swords. But,
Okay. Well, the little loop thing goes over the belt.
Yeah.
And then it's going to get in the way of the jacket, and it doesn't look. It's difficult to make it look good because it's always going to be a lump on your side. Either what are you going to do? Wear the jacket around it and have it stick out.
Right.
Looks weird. Or you're going to tuck the jacket behind it, and the jacket looks all weird and frumpy. Neither way looks good. Now, if you have a Montrose or a Kenmore doublet, both of those are jacket styles that are designed to be closed. So with those, you actually can wear a belt over the jacket.
You're expected to.
Yes.
So especially with a Kenmore doublet, which is basically a kind of a civilianized version of a military doublet, like you'd see a bagpiper wear, or some Victorian gents, or military doublet. And it's kind of like, hey, let's make that a little more streamlined so anybody could wear it when they're going out to the St. Andrews dinner. And you're meant to wear a belt over that, so
including Kermit the Frog. His date, Miss Piggy, had on a full ball gown, but Kermit looked to the nines.
Kermit the Highlander here. Sound more like Ernie that time, but yeah. So basically, that's exactly it. I know the images you're referring to because the Victorians, surprise, surprise, did a lot of funky things, and they would, especially for a photo op in a photo studio where I want to look as Scottish as possible. They would put on a kilt belt over a waistcoat and then a doublet worn open, basically the precursor of what we call an Argyll jacket or an Argyll doublet. You can find images of this, and I'll probably put one up later. And they made that a thing for a while. That was a style. It doesn't work that well in a modern context, and the way modern waistcoats and suit jackets are cut, like you were saying, it's just going to look odd. You're going to have lumps, and the weight of the dirk on the belt is going to tend to pull it down, which means you're going to be pulled off center, and it's going to cause your shirt from under the waistcoat to puff out more. You're going to have more likelihood of like the blobs of white from your dress shirt poking out from around your waistcoat, and it's going to look sloppy over time. I get the motivation because a lot of guys want to have a dirk for a special occasion. We see a lot of guys wearing them for weddings. If you gotta do it, it'd be easier with a Prince Charlie than with an Argyll for sure. But I wouldn't really recommend it.
I wouldn't do either
without the proper jacket. Montrose is kind of like a double-breasted shell coat, and it basically goes back to like if you ever watch Sharp's Rifles. It's basically a throwback to Napoleonic uniforms. You have button, 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 button. It's closed, very military looking, very sharp. That if the belt is meant to go on the outside of the jacket, you can do it. Otherwise, it's going to be awkward at best.
And it's pretty what we're talking about are generally form-fitting type jackets. So if you're a skinny guy, it'll look the bee's knees.
Right.
If you're a real big dude, I don't think it would look as good.
Correct.
Personally.
It's a flaw of the design. I would.
Yeah.
If I had
kind of like Trues.
Yeah. I mean, the more belly I had, the more I would go for the Montrose over the Kenmore. Personally, just wearing them, not talking about the weapons. But yeah, they're a little harder to come by. So if you really want to dive into that fashion, you're going to have to pay for it. I would say that this advice applies to swords also. Having a baldric for a broadsword or something like that, as much as you might want to do it for your wedding ceremony I wouldn't. I wouldn't really recommend it, personally.
Now, agreed. And you can incorporate, if it's for a wedding or something like that, you can incorporate it in different ways. You don't, if you want to lead the Highland charge out at a church with your wife for some reason.
Well, you got to get away from the guests somehow.
Exactly. Photographer, fight him off. You can have it towards the back of the church and hold it up or something. For my wedding, we had a dirk as part of the ceremony for the reception. That's what we used to cut the cake. So you can incorporate the symbolism, if it's for a wedding, in different ways, but wearing it can get a little bit tricky. Actually,
I was going to say, it's that dirk right over there.
Yep.
I'll take it back a little bit. I'll say that a baldric with a broadsword over an Argyll jacket or PC temporarily, like for just walking down the aisle for the ceremony, you might be able to get away with it because, it's going to go outside all the jacket. But I would only wear it for the actual moment and then get rid of the sucker. You know what I mean?
Maybe have your groomsman or your best man take it off and put it off to the side.
Or even better, you have a groomsman
or put it on at the end.
Not even put it on, just present the sword to you. I mean, that's the freaking medieval thing to do. Is like they hold the sword up and you draw the sword and then cut open the best man. No, cut open the cake. That's do that. Like
a lot of sound effects.
Have a sword bearer. That'd be freaking cool. That'd be awesome.
A sword bearer, like a ring bearer.
Exactly.
Just give it to a small child and let it go.
Let me see what you have. No.
I've definitely been at weddings where there has been an honor guard who were armed. And all kinds of different variations of that.
Yeah, so, especially like Marine Corps weddings with the they all put the swords up coming out the church.
Or just medievalists, like my friends.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
indeed.
Shaggy dogging like crazy. So.
Yep. So, that's our thoughts on it for you.
Thanks for watching, guys. So, do you own a dirk? Have you ever?
My liege.
I dub you Sir Rocky.